Hello, beautiful people. Here I am with an energetic update specifically focused on Jupiter and Leo. Jupiter moved into Leo on June 30th of 2026. And this is the same period of time that we had Mercury begin its retrograde period in Cancer, as well as the full moon in Capricorn. And then a few days before that, we had Mars move into Gemini. So there's been a lot of activation and shifts happening within the past 10 days. And I have been feeling it. My dream space definitely has been reflecting a lot of this energy. I've been having some really vivid dreams, some nostalgic dreams, childhood, like friends, quote unquote, friends popping in, ex partners. It's just been like a lot. And I'm like, I'm like, what's going on here? There's a lot at once. And to add to that, I'm in the Northern Hemisphere. And of all weeks, this is the week that we have had a heat wave. And I can't help to feel like that aspect of my experience is a reflection of Jupiter moving into Leo. I feel at some point in my astrological studies, I've come across Jupiter's association with weather. And if it hasn't, then please let me know in the comments if you've studied astrology. If that's a thing, let me know for sure. But in my observation and my experience, I have definitely seen how Jupiter has had some sort of reflection. I don't want to say influence, but there's definitely been like a connection, a reflection of the weather patterns. And so it's primarily um, significant to the element of the sign that Jupiter is in. So Jupiter just moved out of Cancer, and there was definitely a lot of rain over the past year and a lot of snow. So, a lot of like moisture and water. And I remember when Jupiter was in Gemini, there was a drought and there was a lot of heat. And I remember just being in Syracuse, New York, I was like, this is a pretty dry. I mean, it was still humid, but it was definitely dry for the area. And it was very windy. I know there were a few electrical storms, a lot of electricity. And so, that made a lot of sense. And with, like I said, Jupiter just entering Leo, we start the week with a heat wave here in the Northern Hemisphere. And it was literally like stepping into an oven. Whenever I walked outside, it was just unbearably hot. I mean, it's still like that. I'm recording this on July 4th of 2026. So it is incredibly hot outside. The only thing that you can really do if you're outside is be in a pool. If you're hanging out outside, I don't know how you're doing it. Um, but nonetheless, there is a correlation. And I feel, with Jupiter and Leo, there is just the energy in the best way possible of doing too much. Right. And so I definitely see that as a message for us of just like, we don't have to do everything at once. There's going to be a lot of excitement, a lot of joy, a lot of passion coming through. And we're going to be really super inspired to act, but we still want to make sure we're grounded and our intentions are clear and just take it one step at a time. Because as we're experiencing, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and I don't know if it's everywhere in the Northern Hemisphere, but where I am, so I feel this is a message that I need to communicate here for my people, is that we want to be careful of burnout. We want to really take our time. And when we think about Jupiter, Jupiter is a very expansive energy. It's like has this energy of just exploration, expansion, abundance, doing things big. It's like go home, go big or go home type energy. There is also, I tend to correspond Jupiter with an activated conscious state of consciousness, or a deep desire to expand its consciousness, to connect with the higher intelligence. So that deep comprehension is really like it's a strong trait of Jupiter's influence. And with Jupiter and Leo, what I'm getting is the question, how can I become more fully myself and inspire others by doing so? And the short answer to that is just being yourself unapologetically. That's one of the things I have always admired about Leos, is that, that pure Leo archetype, the essence of Leo is they don't give up. Like they are just unapologetically themselves. Like they things revolve around Leo because that is their perspective, or at least the pure archetype of it. It's like, I'm going to be myself, I'm going to shine my light, and I'm going to have fun. And naturally, that energy radiates, and they do have this circle that kind of orbs around them. And, of course, there are varying degrees of that. Like, we can go far into the extreme where, they like it's like kind of an ego driven thing. And then also, there could be like this deep longing for validation, and they might like the Leo aspect of ourselves might like experience that, because it's like can't we have challenges with validating our own worth, our own light, our own passion, our own joy. So we need others to validate and affirm that, yes, we are worthy, yes, we're amazing, we're beautiful, we're loving, kind, all of those things, we're abundant, and all of those, right? And so a big part of this journey of Jupiter and Leo for us is exploring the true authentic aspect of ourselves and really finding the passion and the joy within that. And as we find just like the pieces, the fragments of that joy, of that light, we allow that to guide us, like our inner compass. So it's like that light, it's like we're tapping into that light as a form of direction, like it's guiding us in a way. And, that feels like Jupiter. It feels like Jupiter's connection to Sagittarius, because I always see Sagittarius as the explorer, as just the person that is in this space of wanderlust. I feel that with Jupiter and Leo as well. Maybe it's like a fire sign mixed with Jupiter, but Jupiter, again, there's this natural, instinctual aspect of seeking the deeper meaning of life, connecting to a higher source of power, a higher source of wisdom. And so the key qualities of this transit is we're going to be expanding our authentic self-expression. So a lot of us will be stepping into greater visibility. A lot of us will find new ways of expressing ourselves and really just stop hiding our gifts. That's really, really important. As someone who has a sun in Leo, and I'm sure a lot of you who are not, as someone who has a sun in Aquarius, and I know a lot of you Aquarius people out there, in some ways, it's kind of hard for us to shine our light like that, like just bringing attention to ourselves, right? As it's like we love ourselves, we're excited, we're a little bit freaky, and sometimes that's not necessarily received well. And there are other many factors of that. And if we're considering the traditional perspective of astrology, the sun in Aquarius is in detriment in a sense where it is far away from home, right? It's in exile. If its home is in Leo, when the sun is in the opposite sign, 80 degrees of Leo, it is far away from its home, right? It's in the opposite realm. It's almost like if you're used to being in the northern hemisphere, if like you grew up in the northern hemisphere and then you moved to Australia, it's just like, but all my family's there and like things are completely flipped. It's that kind of energy. And when we think about it as far as, and this is from the northern perspective, but when we think about it from, the perspective of Leo, of the sun in Leo, that time period, it's like it's summer, it's the hottest time of the year. It's the sun reaching like it already reached its maximum with that June solstice, but it's still in that energy. It's slowly descending, but it's still kind of in that glory point, like it's midsummer. And when we think about the sun in Aquarius, it's in January, and it just came out came out of the winter solstice, right? The sun being at its lowest point. And this is from a global perspective, like Earth as a whole, the sun, it's still at the bottom of its journey, right? And then after that winter solstice or December solstice moment, it begins to ascend back to the most northern point of its journey, which is the Tropic of Cancer, right? And so in January, here in the northern hemisphere, it reflects, you know, as far as in the climate, where it's the coldest time of year, it's around the darkest time of year, is that peak Aquarius time. So the sun is not at its height, its glory. It is, I mean, it's celebrated, but we don't see it, especially if you're living in upstate New York. And so that is, long story short, why, you know, maybe Aquarians, you might have a hard time connecting with the energy of the sun in the sense of self-expression, right? And if you're thinking about your birth chart with the sun and the lower hemisphere, right, and that'll be houses 1 through 6, there might be like more of that challenge of shining your light because you were born during the night where the sun was below the horizon. So a little bit of a tangent, but what I was saying is that this is the time where collectively with Jupiter and Leo, we are all guided to connect to our authentic self-expression and to show up a little bit more and honor who we are. And this ties back into my starseed shares, and as well as just my own personal practice, where it's like we are, you know, this is the time to really anchor into the sense of belonging. Like we deserve to be here because we exist. That's super important. So another aspect of Jupiter and Leo is living from the heart. This is something that's really been powerful in my own experience and how I've been connecting with my clients, what I've been seeing just in people that I know that are not following my spiritual messages or anything like that. But I've noticed that the heart has been a major focus, especially also with Mercury retrograding Cancer. I have heard also through people who have shared about this being the year of the fire horse. There's a lot of activation around the heart with that, in the sense of maybe, you know, being cautious of burnout and just doing too much. There is a focus on that area of ourselves, right? And that heart holds like that deep emotion and passion and joy and love. And so connecting to our heart and really feeling our emotions is really important. And it's going to be important as Jupiter transits through Leo. And so this is a good time to ask yourself, what truly brings me joy? What inspires me and lights me up? And what makes me feel most alive, right? And then pouring energy into that and just taking it step by step. You don't have to go big, go hard, although Jupiter and Leo is going to want to push us into that. As soon as we get excited, it's just like, I'm going to do this. And I personally have been experiencing that as well. More on the other end of the spectrum, where it's like, I feel so much passion and pull to this practice or this thing that I'm doing right now, like a passion project, but I haven't had the time to do it. Or by the time I have the time, I'm tired. And I still have been taking little actions with that. And I can't do it everything that I want to do at once, but that's totally okay. And so we are connecting to the heart, opening the heart, feeling the emotions, honoring the emotions, and allowing that passion and that joy to be our compass. The heart chakra will help us to balance the lower and the upper chakras, that being our connection to earth and our sense of personal security, worth, and belonging. And then the upper chakras will also connect us to the higher source of intelligence, being able to speak our truth and being able to see beyond, you know, this current reality and open our eyes, or our third eye, to other perspectives and other dimensions, right? And so it's really important to pay attention to the heart, as it is really the connecting point, the bridge to help us activate and fully embody this Jupiter and Leo transit, or whatever it's bringing forth in our reality at this time. Some of us may find ourselves stepping into leadership roles, so that's really exciting. And this is something that you likely have been being, I don't want to say pushed, but spirit has definitely, the universe has definitely been guiding you towards taking leadership. And you have just been finding yourself in these different experiences of having more responsibility. And so this is the time to really share your gifts and, see what is really here for you as far as being a guide, a mentor, or a leader of others. And one of the things I definitely feel is that we lead through example. And so this for all of us is the experience of just being who we are, connecting to our hearts, bringing attention or putting energy into our passion projects, and then being a leader in that way. So in a sense, we're all leaders, and through our own personal passion and our own unique self-expression, we're going to inspire someone or multiple people. And that's something we hear all the time. It's like someone, in a sense, no pressure, but someone is waiting for you to show up. And Jupiter and Leo is us showing up as who we truly are, shining our light. So another quality, maybe another quality I have definitely been experiencing myself through my dream space. And I have been seeing it show up a lot on social media. And before Jupiter moved into Leo, I mean, the past couple of weeks, I'm a millennial. I have been really, not only have I been seeing a lot of millennial content on my Instagram, on my social media, but I've been giving a lot of attention, like commenting on the videos. Like I'm currently visiting my mother for a couple of weeks this summer. And every time I come here, I always go home with a bunch of stuff, like random things, but she has a VCR and DVD player. And I'm like, yes, please. I want to take it because she's going to get rid of it. She doesn't use it. And I'm like, yes, because I have some VHSs and I definitely have a ton of DVDs that I want to have that experience of watching. But then also, she said that there are some VHS tapes of mine, which I know are tapes of myself and some of my friends doing dances, because I had a video recorder, what do they call it? A camcorder. And I am so excited to see that. And that's going to be so healing for my inner child. I've always loved dancing. I wanted to be a professional dancer when I was a teenager. And so there's my inner child healing. But with this experience, we may rediscover play. Like I've taken my daughter a couple times to this indoor playground, and whenever I go there, I'm just have the biggest smile because the whole place is designed for children. And it doesn't just say that, I mean everything. Like they had a bubble machine from the ceiling. They had this whole like playhouse thing and trampolines, and the music, they were blaring like Disney movie music and other things that I didn't know what the music was from, but maybe it's from some kids shows that I don't know about. But it was just it was so magical, and it was healing my inner child. And I was like, I want to jump around on the trampolines. And so yeah, it's us releasing, even the judgment of our inner child, or our childhood experience, releasing the judgment, allowing ourselves to heal that. Like also, seeing that our parents, like they were doing the best that they can. And maybe, at times we don't agree, like they could do better, but they were clearly not in the evolutionary state of consciousness to do better. Like they did the best that they can, right? And they also were acting from their childhood conditioning, right? And that's not to condone any like really bad actions or choices that they've made, but it's just like looking at people from a humanistic perspective, just as humanity. And like we're all learning, we're all trying our best. That'll help us to release judgment, even if we do it for like a minute. Just have that perspective, and it will definitely open up the heart even more. And so, yeah, and in addition to that, we again maybe reclaiming some passions and some dreams that we may have forgotten about, So again, it's like I haven't forgotten about dancing, but I get to revisit that and relive that through these videotapes. Hopefully, those are the tapes and they actually still work. So I'm so excited. It's going to be so good. So another thing we might experience with Jupiter, we know, is the planet of abundance, of optimism, of good fortune. It's a benefic planet, and within in Leo, it's so good. And this is a time where we actually might gain some abundance through visibility, through self-expression, through shining our lives, through just like, you know what, you don't even have to share, but through the act of, say, like creating whatever it is that you like a dear friend of mine is making tinctures and making all, like, just spending a lot of time crafting in the kitchen, whether it's like for the body, or it's all for the body, right? Whether it's for the skin, medicinal in that way, or something to ingest. And it's totally her full moon in Taurus at work. But it's just like having those moments, even if it's just for you, that energy, that light radiates from you. And so you extend your auric field, right? And so people will just naturally be attracted to you, or it opens up doors and opportunities for you just being in that act. You don't even have to share, but you're in this high frequency of passion, of joy, of creativity, that so many things, like, you're just open on a higher level, and so many things attract to you. So if you're not in the space, if you don't really feel a desire, like, I don't want to, like, make my art a profession, it might not even be from that space. It may be from the experience of just opening up other doors in your life, just by being in that vibration of passion and joy at that period of time. But know that there's a chance that, you know, you may gain some recognition from what it is that you're doing, and it might not even be related. You might just be in your craft, and just from that frequency, it's like someone finally thinks about you, sees you in a different light, and in some other way they're wanting to give you an opportunity or recognize you in a different gift, and you might gain some sort of reward or good fortune. So it's really good. And I'm really excited for Venus to move into Leo, um because I feel like that's going to be powerful to have both of those benefics. But I'm kind of jumping ahead, getting excited. And finally, this might be a time where you start some new collaborations. Like, you might start working with someone new or an organization, just all of these opportunities where you are being encouraged to share your expertise, right? There's a time to build the confidence in that expertise. And so I'm really excited about this transit. And like I said, Leo can be really challenging for me because, one, just having that Aquarius sun and then my Capricorn placements, I'm just like, who cares? Like, I'm not, sometimes this is a thing too that we might see with Jupiter and Leo, and this is something to take note of, is that performative type of expression. Like, you don't have to put on a performance unless it's natural and it's organic. Like, if that's your thing, have fun. But sometimes I think that could be that overdoing it aspect, that burnout, where it's like, I have to perform, I have to show up, I have to like be like this. And again, that's taking us away from being who it is that we truly are, if that feels like work, if that feels like a lot of effort. So that's something for me, because I've had an opportunity come forth that I did accept, and now I'm kind of like looking at other examples of how people who had the similar opportunities, how they show up. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be performative. I just want to be me. So I'm kind of in that space now of figuring out how to satisfy this agreement while just being me. And they're not saying don't be me. They actually do want me to be me, but I'm just overcoming my own personal mental and creative blocks when it comes to showing up and being visible in that way. So we'll see how it goes. But I would say, you know, again, this transit with Jupiter and Leo often rewards those who show up consistently and like organically. So consistent in a way that feels natural for you and just authentically. Like, if you're showing up, if you're following your passion, using joy as an inner compass, you will receive the love, the opportunities, the abundance, the benefits that, you know, Leo and or Jupiter and Leo represents. And so it's like, that's here all the time. If you think about it as a clock, this particular specific time of Jupiter and Leo is the window, the potent time for this energy. And that's how I tend to look at astrology, more as like a clock or a climate. And so when I know there are certain time frames or certain periods indicated by the celestial alignments, I tend to strike at that time, right? I can do it at any time and I will gain some results. But when I do it at these certain times, it's more potent. The energy of the celestial aspects are working in flow with my intention. And so it's kind of like a nice channel, like we're flowing down the river. And so that's what I'm feeling with Jupiter and Leo. This is the time to strike. Now I have like the shading and shadow and light on my face, which is perfect. So become your fullest expression of yourself authentically, organically, shine your light unapologetically. Don't dim your light, but also stay grounded. Don't do too much. And I know I will be sharing more on this transit as we move forward. But thank you so much for being here. If you enjoy the video, please like this video. If you are enjoying my content, please subscribe. I have a lot of subscribers that are new. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And I always love hearing your thoughts in the comments and your experiences. So please feel free to share. And until then, I will see you in the next one.